today. We're joined by Professor Pat Utomi, who is a management expert and a political economist. Good morning, and thank you for coming on this morning, Prof.
Thank you.
It's huge. Everybody talking about it. Almost everywhere you turn, if you're not looking for fuel, or those who are trying to trade with Forex, and so much going on. But today, the President will be presenting the budget to the National Assembly. Is there going to be any significant impact, or what do we expect from that?
Well, you're putting me in a very awkward position, really, because I have said for more than 15 years that I don't discuss budgets in Nigeria because I consider the budget process a joke. And I have not. I mean, 20 years ago, I was one of those who began in January by analyzing the budget, and then you come to December and everybody goes, you see the problem of implementation. And after a couple of years, I said, this is rubbish. I'm not going to talk about budgets anymore because we somehow do not have the discipline of the budget process. We somehow go through budgets as public relations exercises because they are supposed to be done, and then decision makers go ahead and do whatever they want to do. So I stopped analyzing budgets. If you check, you will not see me analyzing a budget anywhere in the last 15 years or so.
Yeah, but I mean, there must be a problem with implementation. I'm sure that you must have proffered solutions in the course of discussing budgets as to what exactly would work to remove that implementation problem.
Well, with implementation, there can be a number of things. I mean, the goal is to achieve an execution premium. But if those who are responsible for it from day one really had no plan whatsoever to follow that budget, then you're wasting your time. When those who are responsible for it do not see long-term goals in which this is just a piece in an unfolding set of activities that will reach a certain goal, then there is no point of it. I think that what has happened to us is that we got to a point of disconnect between the leadership elite, the political class, the bureaucratic elite, and the development aspirations of the Nigerian people. And so we go through these things and there's massive goal displacement. I mean, complex organizations have problems of goal displacement, you know, where private goals replace public goals. But it's reached a point in our country that when I hear all the ongoing conversations about what was spent on arms, what was not spent. First question you should ask yourselves, what budget featured those things? If they were in a budget properly structured, there would be procurement procedures, there would be ways of doing things, but there isn't elite discipline or intent, in fact, to do what is proper. So really, I'm not sure why I should spend valuable time that I could spend doing other things discussing such a document.
But you should be interested in it.
Oh,
all Nigerians
as a citizen,
I'm
interested in things working. But if I know something is not working and you want me to get into a rationalization or justification of it, then you're...
Then perhaps we should be talking about why it's not working. That should help us get somewhere.
A very critical part of why it's not working is leadership. Leadership. Look, we have, to use a Donald Trump, should we say Trumpies? There's low energy. You know, low energy. We're not leading the country in direction. Look, we're in the middle of a national crisis, huge national crisis. And people are carrying on as if, oh, it's just a few queues, it's just a few. When I read, and I tried not to read it, when I saw the headline, the Senate was about to buy a new set of what do they call those things? SUVs. I just said, can't be serious people. Cannot be serious people. See, what our country is dealing with is a huge financing gap. We used to earn so much. We're now earning this much. If we pretend that nothing has changed, then we'll go into an economic spiral, downturn that will just keep going. Look, between you and I, we know that there are even expectations that oil prices will go down to 15, 16 during the course of 2016.
Wow.
And if we think that we can run a system that continues to prop up things that are not working, I was in one or two states in the last, when I saw the governor's motorcade, I thought, these people are not serious. They are not serious. The cost of running our country just is way out of our income. How do you run your family? You earn, I know Mark is paid very well, so maybe she earns a couple of million naira a month.
I concur.
And then you decide that, okay, well, I've kind of lost this job, and now I have only a couple of thousand naira a month to survive on. But I've got to keep spending as I was. You're going to be in detention somewhere very soon, clearly. And so, what was a small problem is being made worse every day. And when I say what was a small problem, it was a problem, clearly, when income drops. First thing you do is, how do I deal with these financing gaps? Especially if I want to stimulate new growth. I'm sure you've heard the numbers. Angola has overtaken Nigeria, our production. That was expected. You're not investing in the thing that is even laying the eggs that are sustaining you. Now, so less is going to be coming from it. Why don't we think how? Because the potential is still there. It's huge. I mean, one ambassador said to me, look, the world is very excited about Nigeria. Everybody's thinking about, coming back into Nigeria. Yesterday's investors that left were thinking of coming back. But tell me, Pat, will Nigeria disappoint again? And that's how the world sees it. Will Nigeria disappoint again? So instead of...
And that's for Nigerians. Sorry to interrupt your thoughts, Prof. So, I mean, we can see that a new government came into power. The problems were there. The problems have been there, and it's about diversifying. But right now, it's even made worse because what we used to earn before, what used to sustain us when we were talking about diversification, is going down, in prices. What do we then do? I mean, we've talked about diversification several times. First of all, let us talk about government cutting costs. You have noticed that at state levels, it would seem that not much is being done, it would seem, to cut costs. Yeah. At the federal level, are you seeing any example there?
Well, if you're going to be buying new SUVs, I'm not seeing the example. If we're going to be flying around in all those jets, I'm not seeing an example. You see, leadership needs to step up and excite everybody into the fact that we have a new reality, but there's a great potential out there. Paint a vision of where we're going if we only do this and this for now. Foreign investors are, I think, willing and able, understanding the potential, to help bridge this gap. How are we articulating national strategy and getting a team that can sell, go out there, say this is where we're really going, these are the actions that we're taking to keep things in check, to ensure that we get in this direction? The gap will be bridged through what will come in either, facilities, because we in times like this we may need those facilities, we do need those facilities, or they can come in terms of investments coming. But instead, this low octane, dispensation is sending signals that Nigeria is not ready for prime time.
But Prof, we talk about leadership. We've been talking about this for as long as who knows how long. But then one wonders, is it such a big, difficult thing to do? We've got fantastic brains in this country. We've got people who measure policies, who see what's going on. So what is the, let me use the word, big deal about identifying these things and getting things to work?
It's about disposition. One can show examples around the world of how people stepped up to bat in conditions like that. People have accused me of speaking too frequently about some of our Asian friends. But you see where Singapore was in 65. Literally bankrupt, literally nowhere to go. Without resources, They traveled in one generation to the place where the most number of billionaires on the planet live in a square mile. Of course, it's not impossible, it's not easy, but it takes everybody taking ownership of this. Across the border, what did the Malaysians do? They looked across and saw that small country, what it was doing, and they said, wait a minute. Mahathir Mohamad brings everybody into the house. He says, it's better for everybody to be inside the house, piecing out, than for to be outside the house, piecing in. But it takes a certain mindset for leadership to make that kind of thing happen. You can retreat into a medieval court kind of arrangement. And medieval courts, even the great Khalifa himself, Suleiman the Magnificent, his court crumbled under its weight. Or you can reach out like an Abraham Lincoln did and pull in the strength of your society and get everybody to understand where you're going, what the challenges are, and go in that direction. I think that's really what our challenge continues to be. Nigeria is a country dying to be led. And because it's not being led, the potential is being lost.